Feng Ruxue nodded his head. The Phoenix in the Phoenix Mountain Villa had flight rules, and this was already a known fact. The two Tai sisters had also told Xianxia about this matter before. Usually how many there are? Xianxia asked again. Our foundation Dao veins are the fusion of the law of flight, law of regeneration, and law of fire. Of course, only phoenixes of pure bloodlines have these. They aren't the other phoenixes that have evolved. Feng Ruxue said. So that's how it is. In that case, what is your cultivation level now? Xianxia was secretly shocked. His basic Dao veins did not have any power of laws, but this phoenix actually had 3 as 1. The Tai Dao realm is already at the 10th level. Feng Ruxue answered truthfully. Xianxia rubbed his chin, looked outside to confirm that there was no one around, and then said in a low voice, Ruxue, can you release the power of the law of flight? In other words, can you extract it and refine it into a law beads? Feng Ruxue frowned slightly, then shook his head. We were born with the power of the laws. Even if we extract it out, it would be very difficult for others to use, and there would even be serious consequences. In other words, you are able to extract the power of the law of flight from your foundation. Xianxia asked again. This? Sure. Feng Ruxue lowered her head. She knew what Xianxia was planning, but facing Xianxia, she couldn't lie. Don't worry, I'm just curious. Xianxia saw that Feng Ruxue's face was warped, and he laughed. If I really need them, I can condense 2 flight rule beads in a day, but none of these are useful. They can only be used by me. Feng Ruxue sighed softly. Then can you give me some? I just want to give it a try and use it in pill refining. Xianxia's heart stirred, and he said, I can use the Dao crystal to purchase them from you. Young Master Shin, if you need it, I can give it to you. Feng Ruxue said. Roughly how much do you need? 30 pills. Xianxia decided to give it a try and see if he could refine it using her law beads. If he succeeded, he could save a lot of Dao crystal and at most give Feng Ruxue back some Dao crystal. This is not a problem. I can condense 2 pills every day. I'll come back 10 days later. At that time, I can give you 20 pills. After Feng Ruxue finished speaking, he thought for a while, then stood up with a serious expression. He said, Young Master Shin, you must not use it on your own. Furthermore, you can't tell others that this is a taboo in the Phoenix Mountain Villa. If I were to meet the elders of the villa, I will receive a very severe punishment. I definitely won't speak carelessly. Ruxuang, don't worry. Xianxia did not want others to know about this either, so he would naturally not speak carelessly. After Feng Ruxue left, Xianxia was secretly elated. He felt that he would definitely succeed if he used the heavenly alchemy. At that time, as long as he obtained the spatial laws, he would be much safer in the Myriad Tao Mausoleum in a year. Tai Bo brought 15 reborn law beads and gave them to Xianxia. After obtaining these rebirth law beads, Xianxia immediately entered the secret room to refine them. In a day's time, he had finished refining them all, and after that, he gave them to Jiang Xijing for her to refine the rebirth law beads and cultivate the rebirth Dao vein. Jiang Ximei had also come out of seclusion. He had already successfully cultivated the death meridian, and even demonstrated the death flame and various types of death powers to Xianxia. It was very scary. Let's see who dares to bully me. If I try my best to release the power of death, even if he's stronger than me by a bit, I will still kill him. Jiang Ximei was extremely confident at the moment. Mimi, Feng Ruxue came to retrieve the pill 2 days ago. I originally wanted to talk to you, but it was only because you are in closed-door cultivation. Xianxia laughed. Do you want to look for her now? All right, I've already mastered the Tao of Death. You don't have to worry about me. Jiang Ximei replied. With that last time, I'll pay attention to it this time. Xianxia nodded his head. It was impossible for him to stay on tenterhooks all day. Furthermore, the Myriad Tao City knew that he, Xianxia, was working with the Phoenix Mountain Villa again. Although the Phoenix Mountain Villa rarely made enemies with others, this did not mean that the Phoenix Mountain Villa was easy to bully. Jiang Ximei went to find Feng Ruxue, and Xianxia went into the secret room, where he was refining a Gumai Dan. The Tianhun Gold Dan S did not have much medicinal ingredients left, But the Gumaidan S had a lot of ingredients. He planned to refine more Gumaidan S in one go, if not he would have a huge backlog of medicinal ingredients. In the remaining time, Xianxia did his best to refine the Gumaidan. Because he did not lack medicinal ingredients, he used many of them in every furnace. In order to stimulate his own potential, he used his Dewan refining method to the maximum, to the point that he even refined Gumaidan. It could be said to be extremely crazy. In just a single day, he was able to refine over 100,000 pills. This was twice as much as before, but it also made him exhausted. Even though he was exhausted, he only needed to rest for 4 hours to recover his spirit to its peak state before he could continue concocting pills. 8 days had passed and Xianxia came out of the secret room. He had already refined 800,000 Gumaidan, which was enough for Myriad Tao City to consume for a while. Every time, the first one to come would be Tai Bao. Because of the medicinal ingredients, there are only Gumaidan left. Xianxia handed over 400,000 Gumaidan S to Tai Bao, while Tai Bao gave Xianxia the payment for the last time with the Tianhun Gold Dan S. Not a few, it's been for a long time. Although it was a lower-leveled Gumaidan, Tai Bao and the others still earned quite a bit, so they didn't mind. After Tai Bao was the time Feng Wuxia came. Xianxia immediately went out to welcome him, and it could be seen that during this period, Xianxia had frequently gone to find Feng Wuxia, so their relationship had become extremely good. Feng Wuxia had already given the last Dao crystal to Xianxia, so he would hand Xianxia over to him the moment Xianxia came out of seclusion. This time, it's Gumaidan, 500 Dao crystal. Your Phoenix Mountain Villa's shop didn't sell any of them, right? Xianxia passed the Gumaidan to Feng Wuxia, and Feng Wuxia also gave Xianxia a storage bag, saying, "There's 200 million Dao crystal inside." The Gumaidan S were cheaper alone. So even if there were 400,000 of them, it would only be 200 million, so Feng Wuxia was able to get rid of them this time. Amongst the 200 million Dao crystal that Xianxia had given him, there were still 20 of them. "Thank you very much," Xianxia whispered to Feng Wuxia. "You're welcome. Next time I'll give you 10 pills." Feng Wuxia replied. At the same time he smiled at Xianxia. Although she was only politely smiling, it carried a hint of gentleness and flirtatiousness. Now that Jiang Xijing had successfully cultivated a reborn rule Dao line, the speed at which he grew medicinal ingredients was many times faster. From now on, Xianxia did not have to worry about the medicinal ingredients required by the Tianhun Gold Dan. That's right. I might have to go into closed-door training during this period of time. If you don't see me after 10 days, then we'll postpone it for another 10 days. Xianxia said. All right. Feng Wuxia nodded. Xianxia took the flight rule beads and immediately entered the secret room. He was already itching to refine it. Feng Wuxia had instructed Xianxia before not to tell anyone else, so she and Xianxia had not told Jiang Ximei and Jiang Xijing. This was a secret between the two of them. "Mimi, let's go. After I change my hands on these Gumaidan, I will bring them to the Phoenix Mountain Villa for a stroll." Feng Wuxia was also like Tai Bao and the others. They would increase the price and sell these Gumaidan S to their own villa stores, earning a difference in exchange for a share of the profit. In the Myriad Tao City, no matter what background they had, they would need a large number of Dao crystal in exchange for law beads' cultivation from the Myriad Tao's divine steel. Only by cultivating those rare and powerful laws would one be able to obtain even more power and distance himself from the majority of the people. Only by entering the Myriad Tao Mausoleum would he be able to have the power to protect himself and obtain more protection. Xianxia was refining the law beads that Feng Wuxia gave him in the secret room. Now I understand why other people can't use her law beads. The reason why her power of law can't be used by others is because of this inherited bloodline power. These bloodline energies all had Feng Wuxia's own special power. Even if it was a phoenix that opened its meridians with her, once it absorbed the power of this law to cultivate its Dao, it would be repelled and then exploded. I just need to separate the power of her bloodline. However, the power of her bloodline also contains a great portion of the laws. If they are separated from her, then the losses will be great. When Xianxia thought about this, he found that this method would not work and could only think of another way. I will first use the crash method to refine it. Perhaps during the process of colliding, I will dilute the power of her phoenix bloodline. Xianxia immediately used the crash method. After a few consecutive collisions, just like he had guessed, the power of his phoenix bloodline had indeed weakened by a lot. It was solved just like that. I really didn't expect it to happen. Xianxia had already successfully refined a flight rule beads. Had to eat it first when refining the law beads. After eating it, the law beads would dissolve by itself and Xianxia could extract the scattered power of law into the Xianxia god furnace. Because it was not refined into his own Tao veins, it was fine to not refine it after eating it. And now that Xianxia had used the crash method to refine it, the power of his blood vessels had already been eliminated. Xianxia could eat it without worry and cultivate it into his Tao veins. Just like last time, while he refined the law beads, he refined 20 of them in 5 days. Although the flight rule was a rare power of laws, the speed of its refinement was much faster than the previous laws. This made Xianxia very surprised, as he thought that it would take even longer to refine. Right now, he could also see that the fire Tao vein was already covered with the power of other laws. With just a little bit more and it could have turned into another rule Tao line. I need 5 more pills. Xianxia became even more agitated now. After that, he left the secret room to find Xianxia and have Xianxia bring him to Feng Wuxia. Xianxia only said that concocting pills was boring, and that he wanted to walk around to visit Feng Wuxia. This time, Xianxia prepared a little gift, and it was only 2 Tianhun gold dan that had been refined using crash method. The quality was extremely high. Upon seeing Feng Wuxia, Xianxia immediately sent a sound transmission to Feng Wuxia, saying that he was here to retrieve the law beads. Feng Wuxia had been refining law beads every day, and after 5 days she had also condensed 10. Because Xianxia was by her side, she could only say that she had given Xianxia some phoenix feathers in return, and that some of the flight rule beads were also inside. Feng Wuxia felt that Xianxia must have succeeded. Otherwise he would not have personally come to her for the law beads. After obtaining Feng Wuxia's flight rule beads, Xianxia stayed in Feng Wuxia's snow pavilion for more than an hour and then went back by himself. Xianxia still wanted to keep it here. After Xianxia returned, he hurriedly took out the flight rule beads and began to refine them. Right now, he only needed to refine 5 pills, and it would be completed very quickly. A day had passed and Xianxia had already eaten the 5 refined flight rule beads. Right now, he was only a bit away from completely refining them. Xianxia was very nervous as he did not know if he would be able to successfully condense the flying Tao vein. If he succeeded, he would be able to save him 2.5 billion Tao crystal. An hour later, Xianxia opened his eyes. Success. Xianxia had already successfully cultivated 1 fire meridian into a different rule Tao line. At this point, he could float in the air, which meant that he had mastered the flight laws here and could freely fly within the divine wasteland. It's been a long time since I've experienced this. Xianxia floated within the secret room and couldn't help but laugh as he looked down. Just as he was secretly delighted in his heart, he suddenly heard a voice sounding in his mind. Yes. Is it young Master Shin? What did you succeed in? This voice was very familiar. It was indeed Feng Wuxia's. Xianxia was immediately stunned. Feng Wuxia, who was far away, could actually hear his thoughts. Because this place was restricted by space, it didn't even have a transmission talisman, much less sound transmissions through space. However, it was indeed alive. Wuxia, is that you? Xianxia was startled, but at the same time, he controlled himself so that he wouldn't think too much about it. He felt that this must be related to him using Feng Wuxia's flight rule beads. It's me, young Master Shin. What's going on? Feng Wuxia was also very shocked, and he could clearly feel the shock in Feng Wuxia's heart, because Xianxia's voice inexplicably appeared in her mind. Then, when she tried to use her heart to inquire, she unexpectedly received a response from Xianxia. This was equivalent to having an ordinary telepathic connection. One would be able to know what the other party was thinking without being restricted by space. Maybe it's because I successfully used your law beads to cultivate and break through my Tao channels. Xianxia was now certain that it was because he was using her law beads. You've really succeeded, but I've only given you 30 law beads. You'll need at least 100 of them. Feng Ruxue was very surprised that Xianxia could actually succeed. It was also because he succeeded that was why he had such a wonderful thing. After I refine it, the power of the ancient code inside the law beads will become stronger. I only need 25 of them to succeed. However, such a thing happened, and a mysterious reaction was born between us. Xianxia said, It's not good to be able to undo it. Feng Ruxue didn't dare to think about other things now, in case Xianxia found out about it. If she couldn't solve it, then she didn't know how she would live the rest of her life. This was Xianxia's fault. Xianxia was also feeling very guilty right now. It should be fine. Don't worry, we'll meet first, Xianxia said. After making an appointment to meet Feng Ruxue, Xianxia immediately headed to the snow pavilion to meet Feng Ruxue in secret. Ruxue, I can already fly now. It's all thanks to you. Thank you. When Xianxia saw Feng Ruxue, he immediately thanked her. This is a small matter for admission. But now that you and I are in such a bad situation, it will be extremely inconvenient for me. Feng Ruxue was very worried. If she was unable to change the fact that Xianxia and her were in a telepathic state in the future, she did not know how she would go about doing it in the future. Right now, both she and Xianxia had to carefully control their thoughts. If not, they would accidentally let the other party know. Don't worry. I thought of a solution on the way here, Xianxia said. On the way here, he thought about the problem. Feng Ruxue was instantly overjoyed as she asked in an urgent voice, Is that so? Can you resolve this problem now? Xianxia chuckled. Actually, I also don't want to maintain this state forever. For you and me, this isn't a good thing, so I will definitely do my best to solve this problem. After all, this is also my fault. You're amazing. You actually have a way to use the 25 law pearls I condensed to form the flight laws. Feng Ruxue nodded. Although this situation had occurred, she admired Xianxia even more. Ruoxue, this is 100 million Dao crystal. Go buy a flying law pearl. It needs 10,000 divine steel to condense it. Xianxia said. The orbs condensed from the 10,000 divine monoliths were the purest and didn't contain anything else. Although the orb condensed by Feng Ruxue wasn't bad, it contained her phoenix bloodline as well as her spirit. Other than them, there was also a special kind of power. That was why Xianxia and her had a telepathic connection. Feng Ruxue immediately did as she was told and went to purchase the flying law beads. She went for an hour before returning. Here, this is 10 million Dao crystal. I'll return it to you after the discount. Feng Ruxue passed the Dao crystal and the law pearl to Xianxia. After Xianxia received it, he said, Do you have a training room or any other quiet place? Yes, follow me. Feng Ruxue hurriedly brought Xianxia to a secret room. For example, you condensed the flying law pearl that contained your phoenix bloodline. I used your law pearl to cultivate and complete the law Dao vein before communicating with your longevity soul. So right now, I plan to discard a portion of your law energy before fusing it with the law energy of the myriad god tablet. After Xianxia finished speaking, he suddenly had a thought and forcefully extracted a small part of his flight path. This was not an easy task and gave him a headache. It's all right now, Xianxia laughed. Feng Ruxue hurriedly nodded and let out a light sigh. She revealed a smile. Amen? I don't feel that way anymore. Actually, I'm quite curious about what you're thinking. Xianxia laughed. Looking at how nervous you were just now. Is there something that you don't want me to know? Or are you constantly cursing me in your heart? Of course not. Young Master Shen is a very respected person. Feng Ruxue's face blushed a little as she turned her head away, not daring to look straight into Xianxia's eyes. Although Feng Ruxue looked very charming, her words and actions were like those of a lady from a noble family. Her tone of voice was extremely humble and respectful. Unlike the two enchantress Su Mei Yao and Hua Xiangyue who always wanted to hook a person's soul away. I don't believe you, Xianxia laughed. Young Master Shen, stop teasing me. Feng Ruxue pursed her lips and spat lightly, looking very pretty. Then I'll start cultivating first. After I fuse with this law bead and my flying Dao channels are complete, I can also fly then. All right? I'll wait for you outside. Feng Ruxue quickly left the secret room and stayed in this place with Xianxia. Her heart was beating very quickly. Just as Feng Ruxue left the secret room and closed the door, the moment Xianxia closed his eyes, he immediately felt that Feng Ruxue was nearby. That kind of feeling was very strange. Even though she couldn't hear Feng Rushue's thoughts, she could clearly feel that Feng Ruxue was outside the door, just a few meters away from him. She could only accept it now, as long as Xianxia could not hear her thoughts. After all, as long as it was a person, no one would want their thoughts to be heard, not to mention that the other party was a man. Xianxia quickly refined the flying law bead he bought using the collision method, then ate it and refined it into the flying Dao vein. After half a day, his flying technique was completed once again. He tested it out and found that there were no differences between them before. He was still able to fly. Xianxia opened the door, and then gently flew out into the hall. This feeling is really good. Xianxia sat down on a chair and picked up a fruit from the table beside him. Is it possible to fly anywhere in the lower realms where you used to be? Feng Ruxue asked curiously. Yes, there are very few restrictions. Xianxia said. I really want to go back, but I can't go back as I have not finished my things here. Xianxia had come to the divine wasteland to thoroughly settle the matters of the natural law divine realm. He wanted to kill the natural law divine lord so that he could take control of the natural law divine realm in his own hands. Right now you're only at the first stage of Tai Dao realm, right? To be able to cultivate in such a rare Dao vein is something rarely seen. Feng Ruxue said, if I wasn't born with it, I don't know when I would have been able to gather 10 billion Dao crystal to cultivate in the rare laws. Even if it's at a discount, it would still require 9 billion Dao crystal less. That's right, Ruxue. Do you also know where I am and how far we are from each other? Xianxia looked at Feng Ruxue. He wanted to know if Feng Ruxue could sense it too. Feng Ruxue nodded. I just don't know if there's a limit. How about this, you wait for me here for a bit and I will take a look at the Phoenix Mountain Villa. The Phoenix Mountain Villa is about to leave the city, and is located rather far away from the city. All right, I'll wait for you here. Xianxia also wanted to know if there was a distance limit. Feng Ruxue could fly. She could easily fly to the sky and fly out of the Myriad Dao City at an extremely fast speed. Xianxia could also clearly feel that she was moving quickly now. In just half an hour, she had already left Myriad Dao City. It stopped. Could that be the location of the Phoenix Mountain Villa? Xianxia hurriedly remembered that location, but then he felt another strange feeling. What's going on? Suddenly, a vicious aura appeared. Xianxia closed his eyes, as if he felt that Feng Ruxue was being encircled by many waves of ferocious auras. I'm back. Feng Ruxue suddenly began to move quickly in the direction of the Myriad Dao City. Xianxia suddenly opened his eyes, a trace of shock on his face. Feng Ruxue looked like she was being chased by a large group of people, and he immediately rushed out of the snow pavilion and towards Feng Rushue's direction. After running for a short while, he heard the sound of a bell ringing outside the city. Upon hearing the bell ring, the people on the streets were terrified. The dragon beasts are coming. Hurry up and hide in the underground secret room. One of them suddenly roared. In that moment, the entire street was in chaos, and in front of Xianxia, there were also many people shouting. He anxiously jumped up to the roof. Oh no! The Grandma Jiang is outside. Xianxia thought about Grandma Jiang's shop. That shop was closer to the outside. If the dragon beast came in, they would definitely be the first to be affected. He immediately flew towards Grandma Jiang's shop. This was Mei Jing's sister's grandmother, and she was very good to him. Not long later, he saw a ball of red light flying over. It was Feng Ruxue. Young Master Shen, where are you going? Feng Ruxue could also sense where Xianxia was. Previously, she had sensed Xianxia moving quickly towards her. But after that, she had changed her direction. Go find Grandma Jiang. She is the grandmother of Xijing and the others, Xianxia said, then increased his pace and flew over. I'll go with you. Feng Rushue's flying speed was much faster than Xianxia's. She pulled Xianxia and instantly flew to Grandma Jiang's shop. From afar, the roars of beasts could be heard. Ruxue, what's going on? Xianxia had already found the Grandma Jiang, and he was extremely calm. The invasion of the dragon beast into the Myriad Tau City had happened before. That's why the Myriad Tau City was on alert. It's just that they don't know how big the beast herd is this time around. The Grandma Jiang said. About 50,000 of them are of the weaker dragon beast. Feng Rushue frowned. But even if the dragon beast are weaker this time, it will still have a huge impact on Myriad Tau City. If it's just a bit weaker, the hunters in the center of the city and the experts from the other major powers should be able to suppress it. Grandma Jiang sighed. However, there will still be a large number of deaths and injuries, especially at the outermost area. Ru Shui, bring Grandma Jiang to look for Mei Mei. I'll go out to take a look at those dragon beast. After Xianxia finished speaking, he rushed out of the shop. What surprised him was that there were thousands of people flying in the sky. Do they all have flying Dao bloodlines? Xianxia said in shock. No, they have some flying divine tools, and these flying divine tools are activated by flight rule beads. At the same time, they need people who have the flight laws to refine them. These kinds of divine tools are usually only used in times of extreme emergency. Feng Rushue said. Amen. Take good care of Grandma Jiang. Xianxia flew into the air and followed this group of people that flew towards the group of dragon beast. He looked at them and saw that these people were enveloped by a faint law of flight, and the majority of their divine artifacts were clothes that were either of the frisbee type or directly worn on their bodies. If the dragon beast was not repelled, then the consequences of destroying the Myriad Tau's divine steel would be severe. Now, many people rushed over partly to kill the dragon beast, but also to protect the Myriad Tau's divine steel. If Xianxia were to fly at his full speed, he would be much faster than them. However, in order to not reveal that he had a flying meridian, he flew much faster. After flying for a while, more than 10 powerful auras suddenly attacked. It's a fellow from the heaven realm, and there are quite a few of them. It seems like we don't have a share of it. Someone shouted. Above the Tai Dao realm, Tai Bao, Tai Bo, and the others were all in the heaven realm. They could be considered to be in the upper echelons of the Myriad Tau City's strengths, and they were also a relatively common group of people with powerful strengths. Xianxia recognized that Tai Shangzhen was also at the peak of the heaven realm, and this was also a realm that was relatively difficult to break through. However, there were quite a few people who could break through the peak of the heaven realm within the 7 great villas and 3 great gates. There's actually so many heaven realm-s in the city. Not good, the 7 great villas god of heaven had also come. There were a lot of them. Seems like it's close to 1,000, person shouted in shock. Suddenly, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the sky. The place where the beast's roar came from began to emit waves of intense light. The wind was real, and the beast's roar was even more intense and filled with anger. The experts of the heaven realm were already killing the dragon beast. The battle was extremely intense. Xianxia was still quite a distance away from where he was right now, but he could feel the waves of berserk energy fluctuations that were surging towards him. This aura is... It's the 3 profound experts, and there are even a few of them. We have to go quickly, in case there's not even a little bit of dregs left. A person shouted in shock. The 3 profound realm was above the heaven realm, so these kind of rankers were considered rare in the Myriad Tau City. The reason the 3 profound practitioners moved out was to protect the Myriad Tau's divine steel. The Myriad Tau's divine steel was the foundation of this place. Without the Myriad Tau's divine steel, the entire Myriad Tau City would collapse. In addition, those great powers also wanted to make sure that the people here would be at ease. They wanted to let the people here know that with great powers like them, they would be extremely safe. In the distance, a 3 profound practitioner made his move. A pillar of fire shot up high into the sky, causing waves of fiery red clouds to tremble. In the blink of an eye, this area had covered the entire sky. Xianxia also sped up his speed to fly under the cover of the cloud. When he landed on the ground, he quickly took the dragon beast's corpses. Who knows how many 3 profound experts have arrived? Their strength is truly frightening, and a large number of them have died the moment they attacked. These kind of experts should also be frequent customers in the Myriad Tau Mausoleum. I think they must have seen a lot of good stuff inside. Xianxia could fly. His speed was extremely fast. He flew past the ruins and picked up the dragon beast's corpses. "I've earned big. I've picked up 2 violet gold dragon apes." Xianxia was happy. The purple gold dragon apes were rare and precious. They could be sold for up to 100 million if they were auctioned off. As for why it was so expensive, he didn't know. He only found out when he chatted with Xianxia. Not only the violet gold dragon ape, even the other dragon beast are very precious. However, Xianxia had changed his appearance, his flying speed was extremely fast, and at the moment he was not the only one fighting to pick up the dragon beast's corpse. Even the Heaven Realm and 3 profound practitioners were unable to do anything to them. "Juniors, quickly leave this place. The Heaven Realms are also leaving. We are enough here, you little things are here, we cannot use our limbs." A calm voice suddenly rang out, making everyone feel as if they were being pressed down by a mountain. Such power caused everyone to tremble in fear, and they all quickly retreated from the area. Xianxia picked up the fiercest ones, and he could also fly so fast that he could pick up good dragon beast corpses first. "It's about time, retreat." Xianxia was also worried that he would be affected by the 3 profound rankers' battle power, and quickly left the battlefield. Previously, Xianxia was being watched by a few Heaven Realms, but when he became vigilant, he blended into the crowd and used counter-power stealth and flew away at the same time. The walls of the Myriad Tau city were struck by the dragon beast, and all the houses in the area were severely injured. Fortunately, all the people here were able to escape in time, so the casualties weren't too serious. Most of the people at the edge of the city were quite poor. They knew that this kind of thing would often happen here, so once something like this happened, they would run towards the center of the city as fast as they could. After Xianxia flew for a while, he looked behind him. There, it had become a sea of fire. Countless of lightning bolts continued to descend, releasing waves of angry thunder roars, bringing about a wave of violent winds, bringing about a scorching chi wave that swept through the entire city. These 3 profound experts seem to be very restrained, and their strengths are not only limited. They also suppress their power because they are worried that it will affect the Myriad Tau city. Xianxia continued to fly towards his Meijing store. On the way, he saw Tai Bo and Tai Bao. They were also flying back to the center of the city. "Elders, what's going on? Why would there suddenly be an attack from Dragon Beast?" Xianxia asked. The existence of the Dragon Beast was a mystery to him, and for the Dragon Beast to attack on such a large scale, there must be some secret. It had to be known that the Dragon Beast were of all kinds. It was impossible for them to gather together in the first place, and they even killed each other frequently. "I don't know. It should be the Myriad Tau's divine steel that lured those dragon beasts here, but a brat like you is quite bold. To think that you actually ran over there as well." Tai Bao could feel the presence of the dragon beast from Xianxia's body, and knew that Xianxia had gone to pick up the corpse, and smiled. "Right, you're already so rich and you still want to fight with others. You sure are greedy." Tai Bo laughed. "I originally only wanted to join in the fun, but seeing so many dragon beast corpses on the ground, I thought it was a waste, so I picked some up. If I didn't pick them up, they would have been destroyed by now." Xianxia said. When the 3 profound experts attacked, there was definitely not much left of the corpses of those dragon beasts. The ones that remained were those very powerful dragon beasts, naturally the 3 profound experts and the others. Why did the Myriad Tau's divine steel be able to attract the dragon beast over? Has something like this happened before? Xianxia was currently standing on top of a tall building, looking at the area far away where the thunderbolts from the fire cloud had enveloped. It was also because there were 3 profound practitioners participating that everyone was so at ease. Currently, there were quite a few people standing on top of other people's roofs watching the battle. In the past, even though there were a few attacks by Dragon Beast, they were always able to obstruct outside the city walls. This is the first time the city walls have been breached, so it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Tai Bao frowned. He was confused. "I have to go back and ask." "That's right. The 7 great villas and the 3 great sects are all outside the city. There are so many dragon beast gathering here, but they actually didn't discover it." Tai Bo also found it hard to understand. This was because they had already known about the attacks of the dragon beasts in the past. Was the reason why they attacked the city earlier also for the Myriad Tau's divine steel? Xianxia asked. Yes, as to why they have come for the myriad Tao's divine steel, we are also not clear. Such a great commotion must definitely be because of the myriad Tao's divine steel. Who knows what kind of power the myriad Tao's divine steel may have generated to attract this group of dragon beast. Taibo said. These dragon beasts seem to be under someone's command. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gathered together and attacked in such an orderly fashion. Xianxia felt that there must be something fishy about it. Who could secretly command these dragon beasts? We have studied dragon beast for many years, but have been unable to discover anything. We only know that these dragon beasts evolved after absorbing the ancient dragon's Tao energy, and that the dragon beasts that reproduce later on can also control the primordial dragon's Tao energy. Tai Bao shook his head. Let's return to the villa and ask. There has never been such a serious matter. The villa definitely knows something, Taibo said. Afterwards, the two brothers left the city on the other side of Myriad Tao City and returned to Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. These dragon beasts are definitely related to dragons. As for the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa and the Azure Dragon, they might even know about dragons. In this place, if there's a phoenix, it's impossible for there to be no dragons. Xianxia felt more and more that the existence of these dragon beasts was related to some big secret. Xianxia could sense Feng Rushua's position now and remembered him. He quickly returned to the Meijing store. Xianxia was also here. When she heard the bell sound, she was extremely worried about her grandmother, and had rushed to find Feng Rushua at that time. But she never expected that Feng Rushua had already brought Grandma Jiang back. Then, when she found out that Xianxia was rushing towards that group of dragon beast, she started to worry about Xianxia again. What's the situation over there? Feng Rushua asked. A few 3 profound experts have made their moves, and all of the Heaven Realm S have been yelled out by them. They should be able to calm down soon. Xianxia looked at the direction that was continuously blushing. To be able to get 3 profound practitioners to attack, it should be the appearance of a heavenly spirit dragon beast. Feng Rushua said. Heavenly spirit dragon beast? Xianxia and Jiang Sime were both very suspicious, because they had never heard of it before. It's a humanoid dragon beast. When a dragon beast cultivates a heavenly spirit, it can transform into a human, but it's still very easy to identify them. A few 3 profound practitioners must have been attacked by a few heavenly spirit dragon beast. This should be the largest siege in the history of Myriad Tao City. Although she was not very strong, but she had a very good understanding of these things. Then Grandma Jiang, do you know why these dragon beasts came here? Feng Rushue was also very surprised, because not everyone knew about these things. Grandma Jiang looked at the direction of the lightning in the distance and said, it should be because of the evolution of the Myriad Tao's divine steel. Feng Rushue suddenly thought of something, and exclaimed, last time, when the Myriad Tao divine steel evolved, the dragon beast attacked the heavenly refining and sword Tao rules. But that time, it was killed outside the city. Yes, once the Myriad Tao divine steel evolves, dragon beast will attack it. And with the scale this time, it means that the Myriad Tao divine steel has become even more powerful after evolving. Grandma Jiang nodded. Grandma, what will happen to the Myriad Tao divine steel? Jiang Sime asked. It's definitely related to dragon beast. All the dragon beast will only care so much. I don't know now, but it'll be clear in a few days. It's just that in a normal situation like this, a few people would be needed to activate the new laws that have evolved from the Myriad Tao's divine steel. Last time, it was a few guys from the Heavenly Tao sect who activated a new power of law. Who knows who it will be this time? The Grandma Jiang said, what kind of law would the new rule be? If no one comes to activate it, wouldn't we know what kind of law it is? Xianxia was also very curious. No, once the Myriad Tao divine steel evolves, then the new power of law will definitely be activated. We just need to wait and see. Grandma Jiang laughed. Brat, you just came back from that place and fished out a lot of good things. What did you get? Everyone here could feel the evil aura coming from Xianxia's body. Xianxia had indeed managed to obtain quite a lot of dragon beasts, and also the rare purple gold dragon ape. He could earn quite a lot of Tao crystal S by himself, so even if the dragon beasts were to be sold, it would not increase his income by much. The dragon beast's body contained a primordial Tao of dragon energy. That was the dragon Tao laws. He was very curious about the Tao of dragon laws, so he wanted to see if he could extract a bit of the power of the Tao of dragon laws to condense the law beads. If he could, he would also be able to cultivate in the Tao of the dragon. The power of the laws of the Tao of the dragon was also very strong, so possessing it wouldn't be a bad thing. I just took advantage of the chaos to pick up a few dragon beasts' corpses. They aren't anything precious. Xianxia laughed. Since the three mysterious experts have made their move, they shouldn't have been attacked here, right? Xianxia was a little worried. She really liked this maging store. She didn't want him to be destroyed by the dragon beast. If the dragon beast were to reach here, Xianxia's pills would not be easy to sell, and would affect Xianxia's business. Xianxia had only been relying on Xianxia for a few days to cultivate and become a dead rule Dao line, and if she wanted to cultivate more rare Dao veins, she would still have to rely on Xianxia. On her own, she didn't know how long it would take. Definitely not. The distance from here to the Myriad Tao's Divine Steel is very close. The main shops of the Seven Great Villa are all near the Myriad Tao's Divine Steel. There is a great power hidden inside. Once the dragon beast approaches, they will definitely take action. Taibo laughed. You can relax. Xianxia was also relieved. The aftershocks of the battle were gradually weakening. It should be because quite a number of powerful heavenly spirit dragon beasts had been killed. I'm going to refine some pills. Xianxia immediately ran into the secret room, took out the corpses of the dragon beast and stuffed them inside. Then he began to refine them. When he came to the Myriad Tao City, he met an old man. That old man had specially extracted the primordial dragon's Tao energy from the dragon beast and sold it. Therefore, Xianxia felt that if he could obtain a large amount of dragon beast S, he would definitely be able to refine them into dragon law rule beads. The corpse of the dragon beast was hard to refine, but the dragon beast was extremely tasty. When Xianxia had placed more than 10 corpses of the dragon beast into the Xianxia god furnace to refine, he had the urge to take them out and eat them. He had eaten the meat of dragon wolf before, and the deliciousness and excellent taste had left him with an endless amount of aftertaste. These dragon beast all should have obtained the inheritance of the ancient code, so they could have the characteristics of a dragon even if they were born. The power they use is also about the same as a dragon's, only a little weaker than a dragon. Previously, when Xianxia traversed the forest of dragon beast, he had come into contact with these dragon beast for a period of time, so he had a better understanding of the situation. My current flames are pretty strong. Previously, when I was roasting these dragon wolf, it was already rather difficult. Now that I have directly refined these dragon beast, my speed is surprisingly fast. When Xianxia refined it, he burned everything in the dragon beast's body. The skin and bone scales were extremely difficult to burn in the first place, but the Xianxia god furnace could strengthen the flames, making the process of Xianxia refining it much easier. 6 hours had passed and Xianxia took a deep breath. The Xianxia god furnace was currently filled with a golden mist. The mist rose and fell as if it was struggling, and the golden flames would sometimes take the shape of a dragon and fly into the sky. It was truly a miraculous sight. This is primordial Tao of dragon energy. Let's see if I can refine it into a law beads. Xianxia felt that this should not be a problem. He had already reached this step. Soon, he used the method of concocting pills to condense this wave of primordial Tao energy into a pill. Done! He took out the pellet and carefully examined it. There was the scent of a law beads and he almost ate it. With the feeling of a law beads, I should be able to form a Tao meridian. Xianxia immediately forced the power of the Dragon Wei law that was blossoming into the pill furnace, and then continued refining. He wanted to use the crash method to refine it. Very quickly, he had completed several crashes and reached his limit before he could stop. You can eat it now. After Xianxia ate it, he began to refine it into a flame Tao vein. While he was refining it, he was also estimating the effects of this dragon law rule beads. This allowed him to estimate how many law beads were needed. It only took him 4 hours to completely bind it. What a powerful effect! What is going on? Xianxia was ecstatic because he felt that he would only need 10 pills to cultivate up to a dragon's Tao meridian. The dragon beast corpses that I picked up, are more or less enough for me to cultivate to a dragon's Tao meridian. Following that, Xianxia began to crazily refine all of the dragon beast's corpses into law beads S. After refining all of the dragon beast's corpses, he had already refined 10 of them. There are also 2 violet gold dragon apes. These are good stuff. When we go out, I would like to ask the Grandma Jiang about their uses. When Xianxia walked out of the secret room, he originally wanted to look for Grandma Jiang, but he found out that Grandma Jiang had already returned to her shop. After all, the old people were nostalgic, and sometimes they just didn't want to leave the familiar place that he was at. Mimi, if we were to sell the law beads without permission, would we be allowed to? Xianxia suddenly thought of a way to earn more Tao crystal. He was worried that there would be trouble. Jiang Ximei immediately thought of something when she heard Xianxia's question. She knew that Xianxia could refine law beads into higher quality ones, for pellets at a time. If he bought the law beads and refined it into a high-quality item for sale, he would definitely make a huge profit. No, law beads are the main source of earning Tao crystal for the 7 Great Villa. Even though it's rushing snow, they wouldn't dare to do such a thing. Jiang Ximei shook her head. It was not like she had never thought about this before. They had used the Tao crystal S to exchange for the law beads S from the myriad Tao's divine steel, and then added them to the Tao crystal S to sell. They had earned a lot over the years. If Xianxia also joined, he would definitely stir up the interests of the 7 Great Villas, and they would definitely join hands to eliminate him. This kind of thing should wait until we have the strength to do it. Xianxia sighed. Jiang Ximei nodded. Mimi, can you purchase some dragon beastes? I have great use for them. Xianxia suddenly lowered his voice. I can use dragon beastes to refine into dragon laurel beads S. Do you want to cultivate the dragon path laws? Of course I want to. The power of the Tao of Dragon is extremely strong. When Jiang Ximei heard it, he was also pleasantly surprised. Xianxia gave her some Tao crystal S and told her to go buy some corpses. Of course, Xianxia's main purpose was still to sell the law beads. He planned to sell them when the time came. He had only sold 1 dragon laurel beads as the equivalent of 10, so if he bought the 10 from the 7 Great Villa, he would still need to sell 900 million of these law beads. But if he sold it for 800 million, there would definitely be someone willing to buy it for him. It wouldn't be long before he had 10 billion Tao crystal. Thinking up to here, Xianxia couldn't help but smile. Even though he was only thinking about it, as long as he thought about it, he would turn it into reality. Xianxia returned to the secret room and continued refining the dragon laurel beads. In a few days he managed to cultivate the Tao of Dragon Meridian. He secretly circulated the Tao energy. It was powerful indeed. With the addition of his primitive Tao power, the force emitted, it caused the entire room to tremble. There's still one more. Let me give it a try. Xianxia still had a single dragon laurel beads left. After he walked out of the secret room, he saw Jiang Ximei. There's still one left. Try and refine it. Xianxia handed the dragon laurel beads over to Jiang Ximei. This is the dragon beast that I bought. The 200 million Tao crystal that you gave me have all been used up. Jiang Ximei said, this should be enough to refine how many dragon laurel beads? I don't know yet, but I won't lose anything. Xianxia laughed mischievously. This is our true way of making a fortune. Jiang Ximei wanted to say something, but she did not say it. She was very clear about Xianxia's feelings. After all, he had the method to quickly earn Tao crystal S in his hands, and it was just that he could not use it. Anyone would be very sad. Xianxia took the corpses of the dragon beast and immediately entered the secret room. He stayed there for a few days and refined all of the corpses into dragon laurel beads. The corpses of 200 million Tao crystal were able to refine 2 super high-quality dragon laurel beads. This can be sold for at least 750 million, which is 1.5 billion. So it's a windfall. 1. Ben? Read. Fiction XSTXT. Xianxia looked at the 2 dragon laurel beads S and was excited in his heart. Tao crystal were like ores, they could be dug out, but that would be extremely hard to find. Furthermore, it would take a lot of effort to dig them out, and other than that, it would take time to condense them using his own Tao power. Most people's Tao crystal come through these 2 channels, and after accumulating so much over time, they could accumulate quite a bit, and then use it to purchase something or to exchange it for law beads from the Myriad Tao's divine steel. Other than those great powers, it was not easy for many people to earn Tao crystal. Therefore, even if Xianxia did not sell the law beads, just by selling them through alchemy, the speed at which he earned Tao crystal was much faster than many rankers. I need to refine some Tianhun gold dan for Wuxia and the two seniors. Xianxia had already rested for a period of time, and now that he had cultivated both the flying Tao and the dragon's Tao meridians, for many people this was definitely something impossible, but Xianxia was able to do it. In the next 10 days, Xianxia only refined 200,000 Tianhun gold dan. Because he had plans to sell the law beads, he did not want to tire himself so much. With 200,000 Tianhun gold dan, he could also obtain 400 million. I can cultivate the spatial laws very quickly. I only need 2.5 billion Tao crystal. I already have 800 million. Xianxia counted the Tao crystal in his hands, the target getting closer and closer. This is really shocking. To think that the dragon beast's corpse could have such a miraculous effect. Xianxia had already cultivated up to the Tao of Dragon Meridian. The Dragon Law Rule beads were worth 100 million pills, and the Dragon Law Rule beads exchanged from the Myriad Tao Divine Steel required 100 pills to be able to cultivate up to the Tao of Dragon Meridian. Therefore, Xianxia already possessed a 10 billion level Tao Meridian, which was much better than the 1 billion level she wanted previously. Zhang Xijing, on the other hand, did not have much of a goal, and only hoped that she had something to do. Ever since she managed to cultivate and revive her Tao Meridian, the speed at which she grew medicinal herbs was extremely fast. Xianxia also asked her to take care of the eclipse tree. He might want to use it to refine a god eclipse powder in the future. I've been busy these past few days. I should get some rest. Xianxia was in Mei Jing's store, stretching his back. Zhang Xijing also came out from Yu Yao Mountain Villa and started chatting with Zhang Ximei. Beautiful, how did the Myriad Tao Divine Steel evolve? Are there any relevant news? Xianxia asked. He was very curious about this. The Myriad Tao Divine Steel was also an extremely mysterious existence. It could actually absorb the Tao crystal's energy and then condense a bunch of them. There were also many rare laws. Not yet, but I heard that there was a group of strange people who came to Myriad Tao City. I don't know who that group of people were, but they were very strong. Zhang Ximei said. Strong, mysterious person? Xianxia was also very interested in this. It seems that I have to ask them when the other two seniors come. Just as Xianxia finished speaking, Tai Bo and Tai Bao came over. They had just come over this morning and had bought 100,000 Tianhun gold dan pills from Xianxia. It hadn't been long since they arrived, so something must have happened. Seeing the two elders' faces, Xianxia knew that something bad had happened. Seniors, what's wrong? Zhang Ximei hurriedly poured tea for them and asked. Something terrible has happened. Tai Bao drank a mouthful of tea abruptly. We just arrived from the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Something big has happened. Xianxia, quickly leave Mei Jing's store and hide at Feng Rushua's place. What the hell is going on? Xianxia was very shocked. He knew that there must be some kind of powerful force that even Tai Bao and Tai Bo could not protect him with. Sorry, this time someone came to cause trouble for you, and we can't take it either. That guy's strength is too strong. Even the Manor Lord was injured by him. Tai Bo said. He knew you were an alchemy genius and wanted to completely control you. Could it be those mysterious people? Zhang Ximei anxiously said. It's not the group of mysterious people from Myriad Tao City, but it has something to do with this group of people. Tai Bao said. An old ancestor of our Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa suddenly came back. He came back from the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. This old ancestor went to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum but did not come back, and he does not have a pearl of life. Whether he lives or dies is unknown. But many years have passed and we all felt that he had already died. So we chose a new villa master. Who would have thought that he would suddenly return and take back the position of the Manor Lord? The Manor Lord also agreed to give it to him, but he was worried that if he refused to accept it, the Manor Lord would be injured on the spot. Tai Bo said. Did those mysterious people from the Myriad Tao City return from the Myriad Tao Mausoleum? Zhang Ximei immediately thought of something. That group of people were all very strong. To be able to return alive from Myriad Tau Mausoleum, they definitely were not weak. Yes, quickly go to the snow pavilion. With Phoenix Mountain Villa protecting him, that fellow doesn't dare to act rashly. The old Phoenix of Phoenix Mountain Villa is very powerful right now, a ranker at the same level as our ancestor. Taibo said. From now on, this will be the end of our cooperation. This time, we won't be able to protect you. It's our fault. This is the Tao crystal that compensated you. Two old men. Forget it. Although we cannot cooperate, we are still friends. You can have these Tao crystal. You all have to be careful of that old ancestor. Chun Xiang rejected her. Taibo and Taibao sighed. Although Chun Xiang always called them senior, they had always treated Chun Xiang as a friend. Chun Xiang brought Jiang Sime and Jiang Xijing and hurried over to the snow pavilion. Only after arriving at the snow pavilion and seeing Feng Ruxue did he feel a lot more at ease. The Cyan Sparrow was here as well. Brother Bluebird, long time no see. Chun Xiang immediately smiled and greeted her. Could tell that he was not in a good mood. Chun Xiang was secretly worried that he would be like the Phoenix Mountain Villa. Feng Ruxue walked down from the stairs. Originally, her expression was the same as the Cyan Sparrow, but when she saw Chun Xiang, she revealed a charming and sweet smile. Young Master Shen, you guys came. Please take a seat, Feng Ruxue said as he walked down. After Chun Xiang and Mei Jing sisters sat down, they went straight to the point. If anything happens to Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, I can't cooperate with him anymore. Chun Xiang said. You guys should also know a bit about this. Feng Ruxue and the Cyan Bird looked at each other, then nodded. Yes, the Patriarch of Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa has returned and injured the current Villa Master. With his immense power, he controls the entire Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. From what we know, this Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa has always been a person with a bad temper. We don't even know if he will become our enemy in the future. The Cyan Sparrow said. If that old fellow wants to control Chun Xiang, will your Phoenix Mountain Villa be able to protect Chun Xiang? Jiang Sime asked straightforwardly. If Phoenix Mountain Villa was unable to do so, they would have to escape from this place as soon as possible. Feng Ruxue did not say anything, and lowered his head slightly. On the other hand, the Cyan Bird's face was full of guilt, because this was not something that they could decide. Chun Xiang sighed helplessly. Back then, he had thought that the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa and the Phoenix Mountain Villa were the strongest allies, but now that he had encountered such a thing, they became like this. Jiang Sime was a little angry, but she saw that Chun Xiang was very calm at the moment. 1. Ben? Read it? Fiction M. Ibdu. Say more. When we found out about this, we had already implored our elders in the Phoenix Mountain Villa to come. However, they were worried about offending the old ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, so they were unwilling to protect you no matter what. The Cyan Sparrow said with great guilt. Feng Ruxue took out a storage bag and said, This is your compensation. And mine. The Cyan Sparrow took out the storage bag S. Chun Xiang waved his hand and said, These Tao crystal are definitely not Phoenix Mountain Villas. They should be your own Tao crystal. You guys definitely won't get much of the Tao crystal that Phoenix Mountain Villa earned by selling my pills. Young Master Shin, accept it. This way, our hearts will feel a little better. Feng Ruxue pleaded, looking at Chun Xiang with eyes full of guilt. All right. Chun Xiang heaved a long sigh and accepted their compensation. Chun Xiang did not have any hatred towards Feng Ruxue and Qing Quebec. After all, their strength was limited, and cooperating with them was for the convenience of the beginning. Right? After the myriad Tao's divine steel evolved, the new law of creation is the spirit transformation law, Feng Ruxue said. She remembered that Chun Xiang was extremely curious about this previously. That's why there were so many powerful heavenly spirit dragon beasts that came to attack the city. They wanted to obtain the power of the spirit transformation law, so that more dragon beasts would turn into human forms. This way, they would be able to have a strong power. The Bluebird added. So, who activated this rule? Chun Xiang asked again. It's a person from the Myriad Tau Mausoleum. You can't say that it's a human, but a beast type. Otherwise, it's impossible to activate such a law. The Cyan Sparrow said. "Oh right, young Master Shen, among the people that came out from the Myriad Tau Mausoleum, there are some that are opposing the ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Even now, we do not understand those people well enough, so we will help you investigate those people and see if they are good people." Feng Rushue said. Xianxia nodded his head. "Then I will take my leave. I am worried that the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa will send people over. You must be careful." She was very worried for Xianxia. Xianxia smiled slightly, then left the snow pavilion with Mei Jing sisters. Jiang Sime and Jiang Xijing had both entered the Yu Yao Mountain Villa, and Xianxia had also changed his appearance. He was mixed in the crowd. He did not plan to leave the Myriad Tau City. He still needed to cultivate spatial laws and other rare rule Dao line. At the same time, he also wanted to find out the origins of the group of people from Myriad Tau Mausoleum. If one of them was a mortal enemy of the old ancestor of Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa and was strong enough, then he would give it a try and see if he could cooperate with him. The news was spread very quickly, and the entire Myriad Tau City knew of the mysterious people who had returned from the Myriad Tau Mausoleum. Xiang came to Grandma Jiang's shop, wanting to ask her if she knew about these things. After the Grandma Jiang found out about Xiang's current situation, he consoled, "Xiang, you don't have to worry. Although that ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa is strong, he still has many opponents. It's just that you never want to offend other forces, especially the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, which is why I gave up cooperating with you." Then grandmother, "Do you know the background of those people who came out of Myriad Tau Mausoleum?" Xiang asked. He felt that this Grandma Jiang was extremely mysterious and must know something. They all entered the Myriad Tau Mausoleum at the same time period, and that was also the worst loss they had ever suffered in the history of the Myriad Tau City. The majority of the experts did not return, but the experts never expected that they would return safely after so many years, and their strength had even increased by a lot. One of them had a grudge with the ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. He was one of the three great figures of the Myriad Tau back then. I wonder if he had returned. Grandma Jiang took out a piece of paper. On it was a drawing of a middle-aged man with a full beard. This is one of the three great individuals, Shui Yunxiong, who is sworn enemies with the ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, Wang Long. The Grandma Jiang said, "All right, I'll see if I can find him." Xiang nodded. He had already memorized the person in the portrait in his mind. Back then, the three heroes of the Myriad Tau all had their own small gangs. But because the three of them were gone and not to return, the small gangs gradually declined as well. Grandma Jiang laughed. "Maybe they are thinking of buying a new soldier from the new one. You can go and try." "Grandma, as far as I know, there are a lot of guys who came back. Are they all big shots from this side?" Xiang suddenly felt that the Myriad Tau City was becoming more and more lively. Yes, but back then, their forces weren't as strong as the 7 great villas, so they couldn't control the Myriad Tau's divine steel. It's hard to say now. The 3 great doors are also getting ready to move and fight for control of the Myriad Tau divine steel. It will definitely be very lively next. The Grandma Jiang laughed. "Quickly go and check if Shui Yunxiong has returned. He's not a bad person." After Xiang found out about this from the Grandma Jiang, he hurriedly left the shop to find out where the group of people who returned from the Myriad Tau Mausoleum were. Not long after the dragon beast attacked, someone from the Myriad Tau Mausoleum returned. It was impossible for there to not be a connection among them, and many people thought the same. It had been less than a year since the opening of the Myriad Tau Mausoleum. Xiang went to a shop in the city, where many people were lining up outside the main street. Seeing that, he immediately went to ask. With a single question, he realized that this was a ranker returning from Myriad Tau Mausoleum who was recruiting. These fellows should be cultivating their own forces to become stronger and have more authority here. Xiang also found out that these people had returned, and did not have any powerful forces by their side. Right now, they did not want to form any huge forces, but to find a gang or something to help him. The place they were recruiting at right now was not Shui Yunxiong, so Xiang was not interested in them. The only thing he wanted to do now was to find Shui Yunxiong and chat with him when he had the chance. Xiang walked on the street for a long time, but he did not manage to find any news regarding Shui Yunxiong. The people here did not know about many things from the past, like the people of Grandma Jiang. And this Shui Yunxiong seemed to be extremely low-key as well, as he did not even reveal his own power. Until night fell, Chun Xiang still did not have any leads, so he could only return to Grandma Jiang's shop. Jiang Sime and Jiang Xijing also came out from Yu Yao Mountain Villa. You guys stay with the Grandma Jiang for this period of time. I'll go out of the city to ask around. There's a group of people that have returned from the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, but they didn't enter the city and instead stayed outside the city. Chun Xiang said, that Shui Yunxiong might be outside the city. With me here, nothing will happen to them. Grandma Jiang said. She did not seem strong, but from the looks of it, she was not an ordinary person. Qin Xiang didn't want to bring them along because he was worried that he would encounter a dangerous situation that would affect them. Right now, he was being watched by an extremely strong fellow, and there was also a grudge between him and the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. Although he was being extremely careful, he was still worried that the other party would find him. After changing his appearance, Chun Xiang left Myriad Tao City very carefully. Although the Myriad Tao City was protected by a city wall or something of the sort, they were still broken through by the dragon beast last time. Moreover, many of the large powers were not in the Myriad Tao City. If Shui Yunxiong wants to establish his own powerful forces, he might just stay outside. Since the Grandma Jiang highly values this person, then he must be very capable. Chun Xiang guessed in his heart. It was late at night and there were a lot of people outside the city. Some of them wanted to enter the Dragon Beast Forest to kill Dragon Beast, while some others wanted to go to a place outside of Peace City. It was a small village. In the past, this group of strong warriors would gather at these places outside of the city. They were powerful and did not need to be afraid of the Dragon Beast's attacks. Now, this group of people had returned, but the power of the gangs they had previously formed had long since disintegrated. Seeing the 7 great villas soaring into the sky like the sun, they definitely wouldn't let the matter rest. Moreover, they were currently very much relying on the Myriad Tao Divine Steel. Chun Xiang had heard that in the future, he would have to continue to improve his strength through the Myriad Tao Divine Steel. The Myriad Tao Divine Steel was not only able to cultivate Tao veins, it also had other uses. As Chun Xiang was walking along the road, a short man suddenly walked over and asked, "Fellow brother, have you heard of this Shui Yunxiong person before? He isn't in the village ahead." This made Chun Xiang feel that it was funny, because he wanted to find someone to ask Shui Yunxiong, but he did not expect that someone would actually come and ask him. He sized up this man. His eyebrows were like swords, and his eyes were like stars. His skin was fair. "I've heard of it. I came here because of my reputation." Chun Xiang laughed. He was now a middle-aged man, and the man was extremely courteous to him. "Really? But it doesn't look like it. You seem to have used some mysterious method to change your appearance." The man smiled. Chun Xiang was alarmed. His face also changed. He didn't expect that the person before him would actually be able to see through his transformation technique. "To be honest, the main reason is that I have many enemies in my family, and now that I have left the Myriad Tao City, I have no choice but to do so. Please forgive me." After Chun Xiang finished speaking, he walked towards the forest. If he wanted to go to the small village, he had to go through the forest. Chun Xiang walked quickly, and the man followed closely behind. If you are in the martial arts world, you will inevitably offend some enemies. This is also for your own safety. I am truly sorry for exposing you earlier. The man smiled apologetically. "Are you going to look for Shui Yunxiong?" Chun Xiang asked. "Yes, to tell you the truth, Shui Yunxiong is my grandfather. My name is Shui Qing, and I am the son of Shui Yunxiong's third son." Shui Qing said. Shui Yunxiong's grandson definitely wasn't young. This meant that his strength was definitely not weak. Of course, Chun Xiang didn't completely believe that he was Shui Yunxiong's grandson. "It seems like you are going to look for Shui Yunxiong as well." Shui Qing laughed. "I'll go with you. When I was young, I met my grandfather once, and also inherited the Shui clan's divine arts, so he will definitely recognize me." Chun Xiang also could not see through Shui Qing's strength, although Shui Qing knew that he had disguised his appearance, but he did not know of his appearance, so he was sure that he did not know that he was the pill-refining genius. Yes, I heard that Shui Yunxiong was one of the 3 great heroes of the Myriad Tao at that time. He was a straightforward person, had great righteousness, and was a great hero. Xianxia said. So it's like that. I wonder who your enemy is, to be able to force you to submit to Shui Yunxiong. Shui Qing asked again. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Xianxia said. Shui Qing heard and nodded. He seemed to understand his grandfather very well. Didn't you say that your grandfather still accepted me? Xianxia asked. Although my grandfather is a good person, not everyone can take him in. What if you are a big bad person and you are also very weak? Shui Qing laughed. In that case, when the time comes, your grandfather will probably get an assessment or something, right? Asked. He was only asking, but he did not plan to have Shui Yunxiong take him in. He only wanted to work with Shui Yunxiong to earn Dao Crystal S under his protection. I don't know either. I'll only know when I see him, but it's fate that I meet you here. When the time comes, I'll help you. Shui Qing said. Brother Shui, your strength shouldn't be weak. You are Shui Yunxiong's grandson, so you must have lived for a very long time. Seeing that Shui Qing was easy to talk to, Xianxia boldly asked. I guess my strength is still only barely strong. I'm only in the middle stage of the heaven realm. Shui Qing sighed. It's mainly because when I followed my father to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, not only did I not get any good things, I was even injured, and my cultivation stagnated for a while back then. Myriad Tao Mausoleum is indeed dangerous. Xianxia said. Then what about your father? Why didn't he come with you? He has already died in the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Shui Qing's expression was calm. It could be seen that he had already opened his mouth, and this matter had also happened many years ago. Maybe he'll be like your grandpa and come out after a while. Xianxia consoled. That won't happen. Even my grandfather and the others didn't have such a thing as a pearl of life, but my father did, and it's already broken. Shui Qing laughed bitterly. When I first entered the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, I had already mentally prepared myself for that. Oh right, Brother Shui. Do you think your grandfather's current strength can be stronger than that old ancestor of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa? Xianxia changed the topic and asked. It's hard to say. If they all increased their strength in the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, then it should be on par with them. After all, at their level, it would be difficult to pull apart the distance. Shui Qing shook his head. But, if there was any conflict between my grandfather and the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, my grandfather would definitely lose. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa has a large number of people. These words made Xianxia a little worried. He was worried that Shui Yunxiong would not be able to cover him. He thought about it carefully. Shui Yunxiong had just returned from Myriad Tao Mausoleum. He was sure that he was weak now, unlike the old ancestor who was going to control the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. The elders in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa were still very strong, and there was a strong expert amongst them who held one of the powers in control of the Myriad Tao's divine steel. Shui Yunxiong did not recruit any troops from the city because he was afraid that the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa would cause trouble. So he chose to stay in the small village outside. Xianxia and Shui Qing chatted as they arrived at the small village. Although it was late at night, the village was bustling with noise and excitement. The place was filled with people. Although the place was very simple and crude, the people gathered here were drinking and swearing loudly. It was very lively and filled with joy. What is this? Xianxia was suspicious. It was the same for Shui Qing. It was as if there was a gathering here. There were more than 1,000 people here, and all of them looked like brute force brutes. However, they were currently drinking, eating, and laughing in a very heroic manner. Do you want to come as well? An old man sitting on a table in front of them saw Xianxia and shouted. Xianxia and Shui Qing walked over. Xianxia was extremely accustomed to this kind of situation. Although Shui Qing was dressed neatly, he did not resist at all in this place where alcohol was splattered. He and Xianxia walked over and sat on a stone chair that was dripping with alcohol. Come, come, come. Drink, drink. Even the enemies of our head Shui must first drink a few bowls of wine. The old man poured wine for Xianxia and the others. Hearing the old man's words, Xianxia and Shui Qing were extremely happy, because they were sure that Shui Yunxiong was here. I wonder if us juniors can go meet your head Shui. We have admired him for a long time. Shui Qing did not directly say that he was Shui Yunxiong's grandson. Just now, he had also sent a sound transmission to Xianxia, telling him not to say it for the time being. Of course you can, but you have to drink. The old man laughed out loud. Those who have come today are guests, and can see our head Shui. Old mister, is Senior Shui preparing to do something earth-shattering? Otherwise, he wouldn't be so grand today. Xianxia asked. Of course. We've already been serving wine and having a feast here for a few days. If you have the time, you can also eat and drink here for a few days. The old man took a large dragon pig and laughed. Eat, eat, eat. Xianxia and Shui Qing looked at each other and laughed, then ate a bowl of it, and tore apart the entire dragon pig that was being roasted until it was fragrant. There was a lot of dragon beast meat here, so if you eat like this for a few days and nights, you would also need a lot. Could be seen how generous Shui Yunxiong was. After eating his fill, the sky was about to brighten. Shui Qing wanted to go see Shui Yunxiong very much, but the old man told him not to worry. He said that Shui Yunxiong would come out after dawn. Xianxia, on the other hand, was more patient. The wine here was good, and the meat was good. He ate and drank until he was satisfied, but here he had no qualms about it. At dawn, a black shadow suddenly flew over and slowly landed on top of a roof. This person was dressed in black and had a robust and burly body. Although he was middle-aged, he was still very handsome. He had 2 strands of a beard on his mouth and had a hearty smile on his face. I Shui have arrived late. Please forgive me, heroes. The reason you are here today is because you think highly of me, Shui. Therefore, this jar of wine is for everyone. Shui Yunxiong boldly drank and took out a big jar of wine, then poured it into his mouth. Once again, everyone raised their bowls and toasted as well, and waves after waves of toasts came out, filled with a heroic spirit. Xianxia looked at Shui Qing and saw that he was extremely excited. After all, seeing his own grandfather was exactly like how the rumors said he was. After Shui Yunxiong finished drinking, he threw the wine jar away and said, even though many of my brothers from back then have gone, I, Shui, have never forgotten about them. This jar of wine is for them. That year, Shui Yunxiong had gone to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum and did not return, so his gang was subjected to many humiliations and had to be disbanded in the end. Some of them were even killed by someone. Xianxia realized that many of the people here were people that had been with Shui Yunxiong back in the day, which was why they were gathered here today. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, Western Tiger Mountain Villa. I, Shui, will definitely find them and take this opportunity while I'm not around to bully my brothers. If there are people from these 3 powers here, you all must tell those old fellows when you return that I, Shui, am still alive. Sooner or later, I will flatten all their villas. Shui Yunxiong's voice was filled with grief and anger, and it resounded throughout the entire little village. Most of you are here to follow our head Shui, right? The old man beside Xianxia asked. Of course we are. Otherwise, what would we be doing here? Right now, those villas are becoming more and more arrogant, and there are still those 3 big gates. If they were to control the Myriad Tao's divine steel, they would definitely be much more powerful than the 7 big villas. That's right, Western Tiger Mountain Villa is especially tyrannical. The few small gangs under his banner are becoming more and more arrogant, but Western Tiger Mountain Villa just sat there and did nothing. We were bullied until we were miserable, and when we join another force, they would despise us for being weak. People like us who are weak and have no backers, we would suffer unspeakably in the Myriad Tao City and get bullied all the time. I wonder if the head Shui will despise us. After Shui Yunxiong heard this, he said in a clear voice, of course I won't hate you, but I won't accept trash, and I don't care if my power is low or weak, but you must prove that you are a person who is willing to work hard, who is ambitious, who is lazy, and that kind of villain. I, Shui, don't want any of them. I, Shui, do not guarantee that you will enjoy wealth and prosperity, but I promise that if you are my brothers, I will absolutely not allow you to be humiliated by those powers again.